Kessler Senior Touring Pro Doubles Championship. There you see the contestants for match number 1. Chet Dziedzina will be opening shot.
Just last year, Chet had an operation on his right ankle, and he had that ankle fused, and he was going to have a bit one side, he had an ankle 4.
How about a little help? The 9 pins.
Well, has been making spares. He's missed a lot of spares this week, so this 9-pin's no gimme here.
207.61 average. Not bad for a gentleman that's 62 years of age. Boy, he really enjoyed himself here in Green Bay this week.
His partner Dennis Jacques says,
"Turn it all the way." Nice short backswing there for Chet Dziedzina.
He's always had that real short backswing. And remember what I've talked about in the past. The bowlers with those short backswings are usually very accurate, like Roy Buckley used to be.
First look at the great one. Dick Weber has dominated the seniors tour since its inception back in 1980.
There's 3 senior titles to his credit. Holy mackerel, he didn't do that the whole practice.
He'll be cooling off those trigger fingers after that shot as he just diced the rack on lane 16. Now, it's supposed to be the young players, Mike, that rip those racks.
Well, Weber says he's not too old to do it at 57.
Well, what's great about the seniors, see, they don't run those shots out. They kind of walk them out, Mike.
Well, Weber gets carried away, though. He starts getting into it.
You're right. And here's his thoroughbred for the week. Local pro out of Madison, Wisconsin, only 130 miles away.
And boy, he's got to be excited. Everybody here, all his relatives, bowling with the great Weber. And he responds.
Well, we have to tell everybody right now across the nation that this was the team that I think captured the hearts of the fans here in Green Bay. They really cheered wildly all week long when McDowell and Weber made a run for the telecast. And now you get your first opportunity to see big Dennis Jacques stand up on the right-hand lane, lane 16. Well, Dennis with a little fist of his own runs out a shot on the right-hand lane, and we're off and running here in Green Bay.
And we see the strategy of both teams is the same, Dennis, right here. We see the strategy is to have the touring player finish in the 10th frame. Both teams have chosen to do that.
The average 216.1. That's for the week for Dziedzina and Jacques. Not too bad for a combo there.
For the double. Hey, Dziedzina says, if you can do it, so can I, Weber.
Well, we saw lots of high fives this week at red carpet lanes. And so Dziedzina and Jacques double in the second and the third. As you take a look at smiling Dick Weber. And I'd smile, too, if I could bowl as good as he does.
And has done it for so many decades now, we're losing track of the decades.
I have a feeling he'll win a title probably in the year 2001.
Right there, and the 10-pin.
Boy, his speed seems to be awfully soft on this championship pair, Michael.
Well, the lanes are tight, and they've been tight the whole practice session. Weber has been fighting to keep his speed. That's the hardest thing for Dick Weber. He's always had that natural gift of being able to throw rather swiftly without a lot of effort, and so he's been trying to keep that speed slow the whole practice session. Cross lane at the 10-pin. Uh-oh. Wow.
So Weber pulls up, misses the 10-pin. That's the first opening. So McDowell and Weber and the energy had to throw a strike here.
And he does.
Well, what are partners for, right? Mike Durbin come back and strike in the 4th, but it's a 13-pin lead right now for Dziedzina and Jacques in the opening game here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're in fall, 13 tournament series in all, and of course the ladies are currently participating in the Lady Fairlanes Open in Houston, Texas. Barb Light, I think, still leading that event at this point. And we're back to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Dennis Jacques in a position now on the right-hand lane where he could come up with a turkey for his team.
But he's a team ahead by 23, and Jacques really won on this right lane. Just like that. An opponent down.
Dennis Jacques is the kind of player that's animated. If he throws a good shot, he'll let you know.
Watch this. This is powerball. This shot right here compared to the old straight.
Oh, yeah, sure. How about his senior partner, down on one knee, the baby split. And so
That needs just a little bit premature. It's in the middle.
you can go down. He's in great shape, though. I know you said three and learn to go.
He was just doing a little inflecting there.
Sure.
In trouble.
Well, he gets one, and so an opening now for both teams here in the opening game. And now it's up to Dick Weber to make amends and maybe get a double in the right-hand lane.
You know, what's the difference there? When Weber missed his spare, McDowell clapped his hands and said, come on. And when Dziedzina just missed that, Jakes kind of just shook his head.
Now, that near-famous wall shot of Dick Weber's almost came through that time, but he leaves the solid 5.
Well, he just kind of babied that shot. He's fighting to keep the speed soft, but he's kind of cutting it off just a little bit and not really getting good lift of fingers.
Kind of amazing. 20 career 300 games for this gentleman on the approach. Boy, he's won just about everything.
I think Petey's got almost that many already.
Yeah. How's that make Dad feel, right? So Weber picks up the 5, and now it's a 9-pin advantage. Mark McDowell will bowl on the left-hand lane using the same ball he used in the Miller Lite Challenge a couple 3 weeks ago in Tucson, where he finished second.
And what's the difference with the loft and the speed and the lift that McDowell has as comparison to his partner Weber? Way out on that lane. Same result almost. 10-pin.
Well, it's kind of nice when you're at home. You get a round of applause for leaving a half 10.
Well, they got to make sure they make this and keep this match within 10 pins.
And there's a look at Mark's mother and his father and, of course, his grandfather on the right. The whole family in town this week to watch him bowl on television.
Feels funny, Denny, to look at the mother and father, and they're about my age, you know.
Sandy and Larry McDowell, mid-40s, right?
Right.
I'm being kind now.
Yes, I know you are.
Okay. Dennis Jacques has been on a roll, and we have our first re-rack of the evening on lane 16. My quick question, do you think the touring pros re-rack more often than the seniors do?
Without a doubt.
Is it because the seniors can't see the pins?
Well, that could be.
Jacques to get back in the X column, down on one knee, and boy, he is fighting mad out there on the championship pair.
And he's got his whip out now. And he's saying, come on, partner. Because you realize, hey, doubles don't come unless both of you strike on opposite lanes.
We're in the opening game of the $140,000 Kessler Senior Touring Pro Doubles Championship. Been a marvelous event this week in Green Bay. His partner's down. He trips out that 4-9. So a big double for the team of Dziedzina and Jacques here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. How many times have you seen that gentleman have to stand up and throw a strike? Well, I have a feeling right now, Mike Durbin, he'd love to have one on the right-hand lane.
And we've got a photographer moving around out here, so everybody waits until it's off to the side.
Kevin Shippey, the PBA's Public Relations Director, assisting to her right now. Dick Weber puts the ball down.
And sometimes a thing like that, Dennis, can really break your concentration. Weber, though, being the veteran that he is, will probably just concentrate on lane 16 and how to knock down 10 instead of 9.
His team trails by 20 at this point.
There it is.
And there's the first lady of bowling, Juanita Weber, out to watch her husband all week long. And, of course, we're new old acquaintances for all the senior players. After all, they've known each other, 30 years now?
Well, very big shot. Probably the biggest shot this young man has thrown all week long coming up right now. We're hitting the 8th frame. They're down by 20 pins. They're all big right now, but he's got to put some pressure on Jacques. A lot of loft. Oh, too much. He hit that ball too hard, and it hooked just a little bit quick, and 4-9 City.
When he had to strike out in Tucson to beat Scott Devers, you'll recall that the shot he threw that went through the nose, again, he hit just a little too hard. It seems to be when he gets too pumped up, Mike, he hits it too hard.
Now watch the extra loft here. Way out there. That's what we mean. The hit we're talking about is with the fingers. The ball's just a little bit tight. He's got to make this, Denny. He's got a chance. Ooh, wow.
Well, that spells disaster for the team of Weber and McDowell. Dick pats him on the back, but right now their backs are up against the wall because Jacques has been dead solid perfect on the right-hand lane. And his team leads by 27. Could be 37 if he strikes here.
Well, solid 10-pin. Dennis, who just has got this right-hand alley totally figured out. They're going at a 2-10 pace. If he makes this, they're going at a 2:15 pace. The best Weber and McDowell can get is 2:03 if they strike out. So it's not over yet, but it's kind of desperate situation time.
Dennis Jacques with 3 career PBA titles. He and his partner Chet Dziedzina in command here in the opening match. It's been a pair of opens, though, a missed 10-pin and then a 4-9 split for the team of Weber and McDowell. It's pretty much spelled their problems at this point.
And right now, they need an opening from Chet Dziedzina. They're not going to get it from Jacques, I don't think. This is where they need to get it from, right here. Give it a lot of room. Barely hit the 3-pin on the right. Leaves the 1-2-5-9, which is not a real difficult spare, even though he almost threw it out of bounds. I mean, definitely a little bit of a push right there.
Chet talking to himself a little bit.
Right now, what he wants to do to make this spare is hit the head pin right head on.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, especially when this is your first time on national television. It's 9th frame time. Lost it a little bit, but perfect. And his partner says, thank you.
Look at the expression on Dennis Jacques' face right there. Oh, my goodness. Well, that's what makes it exciting, Mike, right?
Well, the old proverbial must strike out time now.
Best Weber and McDowell could do would be 2:03, and that's with strikes in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Climbing up that ladder. Big shot for Dick Weber. So Weber really only makes one mistake. He misses the 10-pin.
And he gets 3 out of 5 strikes through every ball in the pocket. I tell you what, right now, well, it's just going to matter. If they can strike out, they'll make Jacques' mark.
Which is better than nothing at this point, right?
Right. Some hope is better than none.
Well, Mark McDowell is a fighter. Make no mistake about that.
Break. That was higher than the 4-9.
A little clipping there on the 4-pin.
Right.
Yellow flag should have gone up.
Appropriate here in Green Bay.
Titletown, USA. Green Bay,
interesting.
Wisconsin.
Right now they have 2, 4, 6 strikes in this match to 5 for Dziedzina and Jacques, yet they're trailing still by 18 pins.
Mark told me that he is tired this evening, appropriately so, because he is a Green Bay Packers fan.
Oh, I wonder why. Must have this one. Perfect. Boy, was that a pretty shot.
Well, he has to be a little disappointed in his heart, realizing that if he hadn't maybe gotten too pumped up and left the 4-9, that they'd have been right in the thick of the match.
Oh, hey, that cost him 30-some pins if he strikes there.
Yeah. Dick Weber right now is kind of hoping for the best at this stage. They really teamed well this week, too. I think they enjoyed bowling with each other.
I think they did, too. Just to give you an example, if he'd have struck in the 8th frame, and they would have finished with 236 as opposed to 203.
How about one more time, Mr. McDowell? Little wall shot help, and so McDowell rids himself in the 10th frame with a nice turkey. So it's a 2:03 game for the team of Weber and McDowell. They'll just have to hang on now and hope for the best. 8 strikes, and they could lose. Dennis Jacques has been absolutely solid as a rock on lane 16. goodness.
The
Double
opening they were looking for.
And sometimes fate plays a major role. Jacques cannot believe himself at this point.
Weber turns around and looks up here at us. McDowell puts his head on Weber's shoulder. He just got it left of target and got soft. And now he has to throw hard and straight at two of them and hope they bounce out.
Gives it a run on the gutter, doesn't get any, and what a turn of events here at the end of the opening match in the $140,000 Kessler Senior Touring Pro Doubles Championship from Green Bay, Wisconsin. A tough, tough loss indeed for Jacques and Dziedzina, but the hometown fans appreciate the fact that Mark McDowell and Dick Weber are going to head on into match number 2. And, of course, they'll face off with Mats Carlson and a tough competitor on the senior tour, Bill Beach. And don't forget the bowling news segment coming up. Welcome to this week's edition of the Bowling News from Red Carpet Lanes in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The PBA regional program is in full swing from coast to coast, so without further ado, let's get updated on the latest PBA regional results. There was a combined event held this past week over in Pittsburgh, which featured top players from both the headquarters and eastern regions. A very familiar name finished atop the leaderboard, but Big John Gann had to survive a sudden death roll-off against young Parker Bone III. Out in the Great Northwest, Tom Shook ended up a winner in Portland, while Fred Matheson knocked down the most pins out in beautiful Helena, Montana. And also out west in Pomona, California, Jess Staybrook notched a PBA regional victory, beating the best bowlers out in Southern California. Each year, in memory of PBA Hall of Famer Billy Whaley, a scholarship is given in recognition to a student who has combined bowling per bunker once again to win the PGA. Only time will tell. Let's move back to bowling now, though. And this was the big shot in game number 1, Mike Durbin.
And Dennis Jacques, who had been just rock solid on this right lane every time until the 10th frame, got soft and left. Bad combination, and there's the result. And look at the look on his face, and that's what they call the agony of defeat.
Tough to pick those double P-knuckles up, too. Let's take a look at the score, 202-193. It was all Jacques and Dziedzina. All they had to do was spare in the 10th.